Princess Adventure Stories. Let's see which Disney princess we're visiting today. Tangled, Rapunzel's Challenge. Rapunzel skipped along happily as Flynn Rider guided her through the forest. She couldn't believe it. For 18 years, she had watched from her tower as magical lanterns floated up into the sky on her birthday. All her life, she had dreamed of seeing the lights up close. And now, with Flynn as her guide, Rapunzel had finally left her tower and was traveling the kingdom. Her dream was about to come true. Flynn, however, was not happy about the plan. He was a thief. Earlier that morning, he had climbed into Rapunzel's tower, looking for a place to hide. He was running away from the king's guards because he had stolen a jeweled crown. Rapunzel had taken the crown and only agreed to give it back if Flynn took her to see the lights. So now, Flynn found himself leading her into the very kingdom where he was a wanted man. If only he could talk her out of it. Suddenly, he had an idea. Wonder what it is. You know, Blondie, Flynn said quite casually, the forest can be dangerous. It's no place for someone like you. Rapunzel frowned. What do you mean, someone like me? She asked. Anything you can do, I can do. In fact, I'll bet that I can do it better than you. Did you say bet? Flynn grinned. Well, why don't we have a contest to see if that's true? If I win, I get back my satchel and you promise to go home. Rapunzel shook her head. No, the satchel can't be part of the bet. We have a deal, she pointed out. The prize should be something else. She thought for a moment. What could the winner get? Then she looked at her chameleon friend, Pascal. Pascal. He rubbed his tiny green tummy eagerly. Oh, I know, Rapunzel exclaimed. She pulled out her iron skillet and pointed it at Flynn. Whoever loses has to make the winner a snack. Oh, I see. You are quite the challenger, Rapunzel. You're on, Blondie, Flynn said. He chuckled. He didn't matter. Whatever challenge they decided on, he knew he'd win. Did he now? What kind of contest should we have? Rapunzel asked. A painting challenge? A game of chess? Flynn scoffed. This should be a contest of survival, he said. Remember, it's dangerous out in these woods. For example, he pointed to a tall tree. What if a wild animal were chasing us? Who would climb this tree the fastest? He winked. Do you think you could beat me? Rapunzel squared her shoulders. In a flash, she threw her long hair onto a low branch and swung gracefully up into the tree. Hang on, Flynn cried, dashing after her. I didn't say go. He quickly pulled out 2 arrows and used them to climb up the tree right past Rapunzel. This is too easy, he thought. She'll never beat me. I'm the fastest climber in the kingdom. I wouldn't underestimate her if I were you. When he'd almost reached the top of the tree, Flynn stopped and looked down. Rapunzel was nowhere in sight. She's an even slower climber than I thought, Flynn said to himself. Suddenly, from up above, Flynn heard a voice call down. Yoo-hoo! Flynn Rider! What took you so long? Flynn looked up and gasped. Rapunzel was sitting on the branch of the tree. On the top branch of the tree. How did you get up here so fast? He cried. Rapunzel pointed proudly to her golden hair. You'd be surprised how much I can do with this, she said. No branch is too high for my hair to reach. That's cheating, Flynn argued. You can't use your hair to help you. I demand another contest, and this time, no hair. Rapunzel was disappointed. She didn't like not being able to use her hair, but she didn't need it. She was having so much fun. She agreed to another contest. They decided to have a race next. Pascal would start them off. First one to cross the river wins, Flynn declared. Pascal gave the signal, and then they were off. Rapunzel and Flynn sprang forward from the starting line. They ran as fast as they could. There's no way she'll win this time, Flynn thought. Her hair can't help her run. But as Flynn raced along, he noticed a sign tacked to a tree. Wanted, it said in bold letters, by order of the king, and Flynn's picture was on it, but the nose looked slightly off. Not again, Flynn moaned. The wanted posters always showed him with a fat and crooked nose. Yeah, they never got his nose right. Flynn was staring so hard at the poster that Rapunzel sped right past him. Her gleaming hair trailed behind her. I can't lose, Flynn thought. He doubled his speed and accidentally tripped over Rapunzel's hair. Before he knew it, he was completely tangled in her long locks. Rapunzel didn't realize what had happened. She kept running and sprinted to the river's edge. She had won. She turned around and smiled, but, to her surprise, she saw Flynn wrapped up in her hair. That wasn't fair, he panted. You used your hair again. No, I didn't, Rapunzel argued. I only used my legs. But Flynn insisted that they have one more contest. Rapunzel sighed. Then she agreed. After all, she had beaten Flynn twice. Surely she could do it one more time. Flynn pointed to the wide river in front of them. Let's see who can cross this first, he said. Uh-oh, thought Rapunzel. Because she'd never been allowed to leave her tower, she didn't know how to swim, and the river was moving fast. As Flynn dove into the water, Rapunzel looked around. How could she get across without swimming or using her hair? Any ideas? She asked Pascal, who was hanging from a nearby vine. The little chameleon shrugged, but then Rapunzel's eyes lit up. That's it, she cried. Flynn panted as he climbed out of the river. He was dripping wet. I did it, he said happily. I won. Then he looked up, and his jaw dropped. Rapunzel was standing on the shore, as dry as she had been on the other side. I don't understand, Flynn sputtered. You got here first, and you're not even wet. Rapunzel nodded. That's because I didn't swim across, she said. I swung across. Oh, I see, Flynn said. He shook the water from his hair and grinned slyly. Then I win, remember? We made a deal that you couldn't use your hair. I didn't use my hair, Rapunzel said. She held up a long, thick vine. Sorry, folks. I gotta turn off this timer. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Now, let's just start on the other page. Right here. I didn't use my hair, Rapunzel said. She held up a long, thick vine. It stretched all the way back to the far side of a tall tree on the opposite side of the river. I might have learned how to swing on my hair, she explained, but this time I used this. She explained how she had swung over him. Flynn sighed. He hated to admit it, but Rapunzel had beaten him. Again. Glumly, he poured the river water out of his boots. Fine, you win, he sighed. Come on, Blondie, it's on to the kingdom now. I guess. Wait, what about the prize? Rapunzel reminded him. She pulled out her skillet. You owe us a snack, and we're hungry. Aren't we, Pascal? Well, what would you like? Flynn asked Rapunzel. Surprise us, Rapunzel answered excitedly. While she and Pascal waited in the cool shade of a cherry tree, Flynn built a fire. Then he began to gather nuts and cherries and cook them. Soon, delicious smells filled the air. Mmm, Rapunzel said, taking a bite. It was one of the tastiest treats she'd ever had. You know, Rapunzel told Flynn with a wink, you might be almost as good at cooking as I am. Almost. The end. Not the end yet. Sorry about that. And sorry I had to interrupt the story for a while there because I had to turn off the timer and the stove. But anyway, remember, everyone's best at something, but no one's best at everything. And also remember, never underestimate anybody because you do not know what they can be capable of. See you later. Bye.